Southern California, yeah.
Born and raised on DNA, laugh and cry to what we say. We hit you with that wordplay.
4053.
What episode are we on? D, they feeling like they be zombies, all dressed in Abercrombie.
SoCal DNA coming in live, 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. COVID got you sitting inside, why not sip one and free your mind?
Cheap thrills, popping pills, stack cash, spend it fast.
Listen to all of Don's lies as Arjun act like he's surprised. Good evening or good morning to some of you. We are on episode. What episode are we on, eh?
Man, we are in the 30s for sure. Just like our ages. Just like our ages. We're definitely in the low 30s. I want to say.
When the back hurts phase. Body hurts phase.
Yes, you wake up and something's aching. Something's aching. And it might be the eyes, too. Sometimes the eyes are a little hazy.
Eyes are always aching.
I think it has been a journey, though. I think we're definitely 31 episodes in. And nice. I never get tired of incrementing the counter on the episode thumbnail for the YouTube videos every week. It's just so cool to see. And the best part about that is we actually use your handwriting, Don. The 3, the 1, the 0, everything is coming from you.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think Don realized at the time, when I asked him, hey, Don, why don't you go ahead and write down the numbers 1 through 9 and 0 like 10 times? Go ahead. And I chopped it all up and made the font, our custom font for SoCal DNA with it. So credit goes to Don for that beautiful, beautiful handwriting that he has. His penmanship is excellent, top-notch for sure. Now, I know Don is very well-versed in politics.
Oh, obviously.
There's been quite a number of things going on in the political world.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk about elections. We can talk about races of the Senate, the House. Easily. Really, I think what intrigues Don the most, more so than U.S. presidential politics, is none other than our friends across the pond. That's right. We are. Did you guys hear the tone change in Don's voice? Like
that's
it's
a
like
sigh of excitement right there.
It's a sigh of excitement. That sounds like a great title for the episode, by the way. The sigh of excitement. Well, say sigh.
Oh, I think.
To that excitement. As we
you're gonna have to go over it one more time. You cut it in and out right there, man.
Everything good?
You cut it in and out. You went all robotic on me right there.
This internet right here, man. Even the internet doesn't like that I'm about to talk about UK politics, but nonetheless, I will continue. So there's a couple of different interesting topics going on over there, and I think I want to start off with a philosophical question to you, Don.
Ooh, I like philosophies.
I think you do like philosophies, especially after your 5th or 6th beverage.
Delicious, by the way.
Delicious, yes. Why don't you go ahead and tell the audience quickly, what are you sipping on?
Ooh, so I've been fucking around a lot with bourbon, and it goes in part because I'm reading something called Pappyland, recent release. It's going into the world of the Van Winkle family, who arguably are the best distillers of bourbon, or the best family of distillers of bourbon, that unfortunately had some trials and tribulations and are no longer in business. They've been sold off. They've had some familial problems, mainly in the male side of the family in regards to how it was passed down. So the latest generation is featured in this book. I tried getting into bourbon a little bit before that because, I want to show off my American roots, right? And always that Kentucky bourbon. Bourbon, right? You say you got that little Sloan, a little drang, or you gotta have that twang in the voice.
There you go. Twang was the word you were looking for. I can tell you were struggling.
Because I was like Southern draw, and I'm like, no, that's not the word I wanted. So I had some Four Roses, and some Elijah Craig that I got some new bottles of, and I wanted to crack them open, put a nice little dent in them before I lay it away to rest in its nice, comfy position. And I had some limes hanging around from a food tasting I had earlier today. So I was like, you know what can I make with limes and bourbon? And bourbon sours are similar to a whiskey sour, really acidic. I cut it with a good amount of simple syrup that we make, but I use Demerara sugar which gives it a nice mouthfeel, kind of like more of a fatty mouthfeel, which is fantastic. No, well, like no, like fatty mouthfeel means like oily, like it coats.
That's not selling me at all.
Well, for the food people, it's like fatty means it's more like unctuous, more it sticks a little bit better than something more watery.
People enjoy oily mouthfeel. Like what the hell?
Yeah, dude. Because like when you eat a burger, you want something oily. When you think
No,
of a
you
burger,
don't. No,
yeah,
you
do.
don't.
Well, people
What the
equate it
hell are
to
you
like
talking about?
okay, when people say like juicy,
Yes.
like this burger is juicy.
Yes.
That means it has a good amount of fat in it.
It
not
does
that
not
it's
mean
water.
oily mouth. No, see, but you're conflating these two things, Don. You're conflating this fatty, oily mouthfeel with juiciness, and you know you're wrong about
All
this.
right, you know what? I may lose some fans here, but just wait till A talks about some European politics here, and then I'll gain them right back right away. So
Easily.
But no, that's what I've been doing, man. I'm excited for you to try my bartending skills. They're really solid.
You know, I have a former colleague of mine who was interested in bartending. He wanted to actually learn the craft.
Oh yeah.
And I asked him, like, why don't you go ahead and just buy a couple of bottles and practice at home? Like, it can't be that hard.
It gets pricey, bro.
Not only does it get pricey, to actually really understand all the complexities of the flavors, and how different liqueurs interact with each other, and the different things you put in it. Some people actually recommend you go on these trips, these excursions. You travel the world and you try different liqueurs. You try different like herbs and aromas from different countries. And it becomes like a lesson in the culinary arts almost, as you traverse the world looking for the right way to create these concoctions that everybody adores back stateside. So to me, I used to think bartending was like one of the easiest things in the world, and you can easily become a mixologist if you want, right? Just grab some Coca-Cola, grab some Jack Daniels, and there you go.
There you go. You lost all the bartending fans that you had right there. Like
there you go. I mean, I don't know how many of our 7 fans are bartenders, but yeah, maybe I lost 1 at the most. But yeah, no, it's I have respect for the mixologists that really know what they're doing.
Sure.
I have respect for the people that really take their time to shave out that one perfect cube of ice that goes into that goes into the glass. But you can, of course, easily do that by getting that silicone tray, right?
Not so much. No, not so easy.
You don't think so?
No,
you don't think so?
Because ice freezes, or like some trays won't. Well, either way, I mean, the silicone trays will help, but then you need a certain kind of water at the same time if you're going to use just plain silicone trays, right? People
what kind of fucking water are people going to use for their drinks, Tom?
It's an art, my man. It's an art.
Well, explain to the novice like myself.
Basically, distilled water with no impurities in it. Because
distilled water inside the silicone tray, boom, you got your perfect cube.
But then the way that the water freezes is if it's exposed on the top, it's going to freeze top to bottom, right? Open side or exposed side to silicone side. So what you actually want to do is kind of have a slower process where it freezes in totality. So you kind of want to insulate it. But the
how
best
would you
way,
do that?
Well, actually, the best way is to actually freeze a large amount of water, distilled water if you could, and then actually you shave off the portions that are opaque.
By the way, I just gotta say, I know you said some great shit right there. You dropped some great knowledge, but the funniest thing just happened. My internet just kind of went out a little bit, and the only word that I heard from that 30-second soliloquy was freeze. How fitting was that?
So then you hire Iceman, who's an Omega mutant
Freeze.
from.
Mr. Freeze.
Well, either way, 5 drinks in, 5 drinks in, 6 drinks. Who's
there
counting?
You go.
Sipping on water now because things are getting a little loopy and my eyes aren't really open anymore.
All good. I will help your eyes become even closed.
Yes. With your red side politics. Here we go.
With my well, actually, this would be the blue side over there. Across the pond, they switch up the colors.
Right from us.
Isn't that interesting?
Right from us.
Right from us.
Right. Yeah. Right from east of us.
Okay. Sure. We can say.
Edit this out. There we go.
Even your edit this out is sounding slurred, but that's fine.
Everything should be sounding slurred at this point.
Everything will be. So I guess the first article that we'll jump into, and we won't spend too much time on all of these. Thank God, Don says. Thank God.
Yeah.
As you know, one of the most common things that people like to do in the UK for the government is to hold them to. Okay, beyond fish and chips, of course, on a Sunday night on the beach. No
Cold
better
beer.
way to enjoy it. Cold beer, of course. The people over there, they love to hold their government to account. More so than any other country, any other, government system that I've seen. And the way they like to do this is through two ways. Number one, of course, in media, they ask tons of questions. But even during these congressional sessions over there, which are known as these House of Commons or House of Lords sessions, they have debates. They have question time. They have debates. They have the ministers of the state come to the podium, essentially, to the dispatch box, and talk about what they've been up to, answer question after question, oftentimes scathing questions from the opposition. And of course, now it's a little bit more challenging because of COVID. And just like any other workplace, over there, they have to obey COVID rules with the social distancing, with, virtual participation when possible. And this is really where it gets interesting because for most of our jobs, we can work from home. Some of us, may go in anyways, but we can work from home in some capacity. But this one guy who is part of the official Boris Johnson administration over there, his name is Jacob Rees-Mogg. He is the leader of the House. And what that role means over there, he's kind of like the liaison between the members of parliament, including the opposition benches, and the government. Unlike the United States, over there in the House of Commons, the executive branch actually sits inside the legislative branch. You can think of it that way. Imagine if Trump and his homies and Mike Pence were pretty much in the Senate, just like chilling there in the corner section. And every so often they'd be asked questions and Trump would have to answer on the Senate floor to everybody. Never happened before, right? But that's kind of the system, that's kind of the usual parlay over there in the UK. Now, because of COVID, a lot of people have been Skyping in or Zooming in, whatever it is. But Jacob Rees-Mogg, the leader of the House, he's very much against this in principle. He argues that you actually can't do your job as an MP if you don't come to the House directly to make your case, to do your argument, to do your intervention, whatever it may be. Virtual participation is not the same as coming in place and being there physically. And this is becoming problematic because think about it. A lot of people are told to shelter in place, especially if they're, from a background of, medical problems, or maybe they're from a elderly group. And so this has become a point of contention in the House because all the MPs, all the backbenchers of his own party and the opposition, they're all saying the same thing like, hey, we want to be able to do everything virtually. We want a completely hybrid parliament where if you're able to come, great, participate. If you're not able to come, that's fine. Vote from, a digital service. You can Skype into the debate. You can ask questions. You can do anything you want. Why is this not happening? So my philosophical question to you is this. Do you think, in terms of keeping a government to account, it is absolutely essential for people to be there to challenge the government, to physically be there to ask questions, to intervene on these debates? Or do you think all this can easily be done online and Jacob Rees-Mogg is just being kind of nonsensical here? He's being very irrational.
I think things can be done online.
Beautiful. Moving on to the next topic.
No, I mean, because honestly, it's like, I understand the physical presence has a more effect nowadays. Because you could see conversation in and of itself is more than just hearing, right? It's seeing the physical cues and other things. And it also shows a certain level of dedication that this person, woke up at a certain time and showed up even though they didn't have to be here, for example. And, they went through whatever hurdles they had to in order to show up, right? Given the health concerns that some people may have, or just the severity of COVID, right? Putting yourself out there to get there physically with or without a mask, whatever. So yeah, I think there physically has more of an impact. Can it be done digitally? Yeah, we're in the age where technology allows us to do that and connect in such a way that hasn't been done before. So I say leverage that and use it for, making these connections that can't be done otherwise.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. And to play devil's advocate just briefly before we skip to the next one, what Jacob Rees Mogg basically says in this case is a couple of things.
I can't wait for. Can't believe you're willing to just like, oh, okay, moving on.
I will, because I'm growing bored of this virtual participation debate. But I will say that his defense is consisting of a couple of points. Number one, the other house in the Houses of Parliament, kind of like how we have the House of Representatives and the Senate, right? The Senate being the upper house in a way, where really it's only 100 people versus the 435 for the representatives. Over there, they have this other unelected house called the House of Lords. And apparently, while doing the hybrid parliament, the hybrid, half people coming in, half people virtually participating, they had technical difficulties, and the glitches caused them to lose one day of official business. And Jacob Rees Mogg likes to always talk about that point. Like, look, we can't have that happen here in the elected house, in the House of Commons. So there's no way we can continue with any kind of hybrid parliament. We have to have people come here if they want to participate in a debate. Number two, he also says, similar to what you were saying, physically when you're there, you can really appreciate the cut and thrust of debate. He likes to use that expression, the cut and thrust.
I like it.
It is. It is very aggressive. It's very aggressive. And
I want to use that. We need to cut and thrust. We need it. Show up.
Yeah.
8 a.m.
There you go. There you go. I should later show you what this gentleman looks like, because he is not scruffy at all. Like the way that we're impersonating him to be, he's actually very.
And that's what I'm thinking. Like when he's like, if they have a camera on him, what is his physical motion when he says cut and thrust? Like, is he
my God.
doing a cutting motion and a thrust?
No. To be honest, like the thing about this guy, Jacob Rees Mogg, he is the poshest British person ever. Like when you think of a British person, the stereotypical, maybe even like an 18th century British person, that's essentially what he looks like.
Comes in with like the ruffles all over and shit. Randomly.
Pretty much. That's probably his weekend attire. That's probably his weekend attire.
His PJs. He puts them on, so he's at least wearing it halfway through the day. Yeah.
he pretty much always wears the same outfit every day.
There we go.
And it's like a long trench coat almost.
Hey, I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that.
I guess it's swag for some. It's swag for some. But in any case,
Cost VC.
There you go. But in any case, Jacob Rees Mogg, as much as I'm a fan of his style and everything, I think he's very interesting to listen to say the least. I disagree with him wholeheartedly, and I agree with you, Don. I think virtual participation, especially during COVID, is not just an option, but I think it's a necessity. And Jacob should wake up and smell the coffee. Somebody who did wake up, smell the coffee, and then just leave immediately was none other than the brother of the author of the book that we used to read, The Art of War, Dominic Cummings.
Dominic really Cummings.
The brother? No, he's not. Not even, the last name's not even spelled the same. But even though I may pronounce it the same way at times. So Dominic Cummings, for those of you that don't know, meaning 100% of our audience, is was the closest advisor to the Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson. And the equivalent I can think of to US politics would be Steve Bannon. Some of you may know Steve Bannon was pivotal early on in Trump's campaign. And a lot of people argue that Bannon was behind Trump's popularity initially and his rise to power in the political arena and eventually getting office. Since he got office, however, Bannon kind of faded away. He wasn't as prominent, at least not in the public spotlight. And he soon just completely went away from the Trump administration. But regardless, people always credit Bannon for Trump being the way he is politically today. Similarly, you have this guy, Dominic Cummings, who's a bit of a puppet master. A lot of people say he's the only person who had full control over Boris Johnson. He was pulling the strings in Number 10. Number 10, meaning, of course, 10 Downing Street, which is the British equivalent of the White House here. Cummings is a very polarizing figure, too. Some people love him and consider him to be some kind of a political and even diabolical genius of sorts. He was behind the whole Get Brexit Done campaign. He was behind the whole Take Back Control campaign regarding immigration over there. And people kind of view him as this mastermind that really runs Number 10, that runs the executive branch in UK politics. But very recently, just a couple days ago, Dominic Cummings has left Number 10. He has actually resigned from his position as top senior advisor to Boris Johnson. And he is no longer there. He's no longer supporting Boris. So my question to you is, what do you think this means for A's boy BJ? What do you think this means for Boris Johnson?
I don't... Less power? Less
Perfect.
say?
Less power. Less power.
Say? I don't know what the right term is.
So when you say less power, do you mean, what do you mean exactly? Like, who has less power?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I think Don and I agree on this one. The power dynamic in Number 10 has definitely shifted, and this may be better for some members of cabinet. This may be better for the country overall with Cummings out, but I don't know if this means Boris's days are numbered. Some people are thinking that.
What's the term, or like for Boris? Like, how much more time does he have?
So typically a parliament lasts for about 5 years.
Okay. And is there an opportunity for Boris to continue that 5 years, or once 5 years are up, that's it?
Oh, no, yeah, you can definitely keep continuing. I don't think there's any kind of limitation. Like here, of course, as everyone knows, the U.S. president can only serve 2 terms, totaling 8 years total, right? 4 years for each term. Mm-hmm. Over there, you can serve consecutive terms over and over again until you fall out of favor, or you're no longer the majority party, or you just resign, which is often the case. I think people over there, they like to hold on to their power.
Like, I'm tired. I'm ready to retire.
Sometimes, like, you look at Theresa May, who was the prime minister before Boris Johnson. When she failed to deliver on Brexit, she, sadly had to retire. Sure. And that really paved the way for BJ, as you like to call him, to come into power. There you go. Mm-hmm. Great food and very, very good. We weren't. Yes. Oh, there we go. Yes, we weren't talking about anything else. Now, Cummings leaving Number 10. That, of course, is a big story. But another big story that Don is very excited about is from the Labour Party, the opposition, the official opposition of the government. And of course, Don, of course, we're talking about your boy, the opposite to Boris Johnson. We're talking about Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party. Yep. And you know what he did recently. It's been very controversial. It's been all over the papers. Yeah, I will tell everybody, as you possibly learned for the first time. Starmer has removed the whip from Corbyn. Oh now that sentence alone, I'm just curious. Before I explain what that means, I purposely said it this way just to see your reaction. What do you think it means when I say, okay, calm down, calm your tits for a little bit, take a sip of your bourbon and whiskey and sour, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, for your okay. I'm gonna ask you again, and you got a few seconds to think about this. Yeah. What does it mean if I tell you Starmer has removed the whip from Corbyn? What does that mean?
He's given up his cowboy days. That whip is retired. He's saying, all right, you know what? I'm done cracking the whip. I'm done going for the world record. We're just gonna, let it go. I'm close, right?
Surprisingly, Don is 99% right.
There we go.
He is right because what Starmer has effectively done is remove Corbyn, at least temporarily, from the Labour Party. And for those that don't know, meaning everybody.
I love that pause.
I have to, because I'm always thinking like, all right, what does our audience know about this? Zero. They know zero. Absolutely nothing. So Jeremy Corbyn was the former leader of the Labour Party for probably about 4 or 5 years.
Obviously, yeah.
And Corbyn, in his tenure, he had to deal with some anti-Semitism in his own party.
Who doesn't?
I think this is a perfect tangent, actually. Don, tell us about, your anti-Semitism history. Tell me.
I don't think people would be interested in that.
Might not be a good time. But really quickly to put you on the spot, because I love doing this. Are you a Zionist or anti-Zionist?
Dude, honestly, I don't even know what a Zionist is.
But you do know who Zion Williamson is.
I do.
And let's get right into it. So this is how I do. When I sense that a topic is not getting much traction, I switch it up really quickly.
Zionism is an ideology and nationalist movement among the Jewish people. Huh. Zionism also sought assimilation of Jews into the modern world. Huh. Okay. I'm probably going to not remember that moving forward, but, we'll make do.
Okay, so you are a confirmed Zionist, is that right?
I'm going to read into it more before I say
Smart answer. That was a trap.
I feel like either answer I had, you would have counterpoints to make it bad on me. So, no. No,
you're right. Actually, now is not the time to get
technical
into
difficulties.
That's technical and tactical difficulties. A little bit of both.
Always.
But long story short, Corbyn didn't do a good job of basically, resolving some of the complaints by the Jewish community that Labour has too many anti-Semites in there. And so Starmer, when he became leader, when he took over, he was like, my number one agenda will be to root out anti-Semitism and basically have a zero tolerance policy.
Hey, and I guess, to kind of pivot away from this, not because it's boring or anything, but
not just because it's
like building on that topic of Zionism.
Oh shit, we're getting into that?
From a broad level.
Oh shit. Okay.
Is it wrong, or rather, should it even be a thing, to support a race's kind of ease into a society?
So,
it's a hard question to ask, but
no. So I think maybe you're taking a narrow view.
Yeah. Well, I always do. Tunnel vision.
But
so,
I think. I mean, this is, first of all, okay, let me just first say to the audience here. No, I just have to preface this because I'm guilty of just recently learning about this. And I think Don is too. Don just learned about it like 2 minutes ago. He Googled it.
I'm asking the questions right now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to figure
okay.
things out.
Are you ready for this?
Sure.
Are we? Okay. We're both about to talk about something that is very controversial. That is a hot button issue that we know very little about. So full disclosure, we don't know much about what we're talking about, which isn't a surprise to our audience.
And I'm 6 drinks in.
He's 6 drinks in now. Wow, He was at 5 before, so clearly he's been hitting it hard.
You gotta pour a little. I don't think you heard me get up and re-pour and then come back. So.
No, I mean I appreciate that. For this kind of a topic, you definitely needed something in your system for sure. So my understanding,
and we'll keep it short, by the way. Let's keep it.
We will keep it very, very short. My understanding is, if you're a Zionist, you support Israel, the state of Israel, meaning the territory that Israel claims to be theirs. Okay? If you're anti-Zionist, you basically oppose the state of Israel, or you oppose its establishment and the political movement over there that's happening. And essentially it comes down to this conflict between Palestine and Israel, because I think it's about territory that's been taken over. At some point in history, there definitely was some settlements that were very, very controversial, taken by Israel. So I think the whole idea of like anti-Zionism versus Zionism, I think, and this is me being completely ignorant, and I know some people will be very critical about what we're saying, I think it may come down to, do you support Israel's occupation of that territory, or do you think it really belongs to Palestine? That may be the crux of what this battle is about. And so something that oftentimes gets conflated with this Zionism versus anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, right? So I think because Israel is so closely tied to the Jewish people, I think if you are an anti-Zionist, it's viewed as you're anti-Semitic.
Mm.
And this is actually echoed, and this is a great segue for us. This is echoed by something that the current Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, he said recently.
Mm.
He actually said that anybody that doesn't recognize Israel to be an official state is anti-Semitic. He actually said this as a representative of the U.S.
Hmm.
And this has never been done before. And as a matter of fact, he's been doing things that no Secretary of State has ever done.
Big
He
balls,
has
long whip.
yes, the whip is definitely on him for sure. The whip has not been stripped of Mike Pompeo. Um, he has basically visited Israel and went to all the different sites over there as like a special guest. And they like him so much over there that I think some restaurant or some winery has named a wine after Mike Pompeo. It's like the Pompeo vintage. So, it's very complicated issue. I admittedly know nothing about it except for what I told you. And even then, this is not fully verified. But I hope that maybe gives you an idea of what this conflict is about. This whole idea does not. Sometimes the A can try his best to explain what little he knows to the D. But when the D is limited by sixth grade vocabulary,
very slippery.
Very slippery the D is. Even in sixth grade, he was quite a slippery catch.
Very slippery.
I think it's difficult to convey some of these complex philosophies and
very thick head.
That's
very
right.
Slippery.
That's right.
Bad combination.
That's true. And somebody like Don, most likely in middle school in sixth grade, he would be bullied because of his slipperiness, because of how nothing would get through to his head. Happens to the best of us. And it did happen to some people who we thought were the best in the UK. Of course, I'm talking about this new, bullying allegation that was bestowed upon Priti Patel. Of course, Don knows Priti Patel is the Home Secretary of Boris Johnson's administration.
Duh.
She is, it's interesting because when you look at Boris Johnson's administration, the top posts, aside from Prime Minister, is of course the Chancellor of the Exchequer. And Don, you're very familiar with this role. Why don't you go ahead and explain to the audience what the Chancellor of the Exchequer is responsible for?
Hold on, I think I'm having some technical difficulty. You're gonna have to take over this one really quick.
Oh, sure, no problem. I hope the internet isn't bugging out on my side, but
no, it's not.
Okay, essentially, the Chancellor of the Exchequer. Okay, you got me on that one. The way you said it, I thought that I was going in and out a little bit. But all right, so essentially, what I'm trying to say is, Boris Johnson's highest cabinet officials are Indian. He happened to pick two Indian British citizens to be part of his cabinet. And you can look at it different ways. Some people think, oh, it's a good sign. It's a sign of diversity. He's bringing everybody into the fold. But then other people say, well, it's very easy to appoint already elite minorities into very cushy jobs, but what does it do for the population? What does it do for the greater population? What kind of policies are changed? But that aside, Priti Patel has been in government for several years, even before the Johnson administration, and she has a bit of a history. For people that don't know her, she's a very, I would say, hard-nosed, effective politician, and she is not afraid to speak her mind. And I guess over the past year or so, there's been allegations of bullying that have been filed against her by her civil servants, by the people that work for her. And it's kind of hypocritical because Johnson's government has been very staunch about anti-bullying policy. They tell everybody, hey, bullying is bad. Don't do it in the workplace. Don't do it at school. You will be reprimanded. It's not cool. But yet, when Boris Johnson, one of his closest confidants, Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, is independently verified as being a bully by an independent commission that did this investigation, Boris Johnson kind of discredits that entire report, causing the person who wrote the report to resign because he simply cannot stay on this board if his opinion is not taken seriously, and Priti Patel is allowed to continue. Your boy, Keir Starmer, the leader of the opposition, is very quick to say, hey, look, in any normal circumstance, if this kind of report came out, the Home Secretary would be sacked, meaning she would be fired. Why is it that as Prime Minister Boris Johnson, you are keeping her on. So my question to you, Don, is if you were, let's say, running a company, or maybe you're running a city, maybe a city in Orange County, perhaps doing something special, working for the government. And if you knew somebody in your, work circle, in your close work circle, high up, maybe in a high post, that is doing bullying, and maybe there's been allegations about it. Nobody has directly told you, nobody has directly approached this person either about these bullying allegations, but it's come up through the media, it's come up through independent reports and investigations. How would you handle that situation if you were in charge?
Beat them up. Put them in their place.
Beat up who? The bully or the reporters?
The bully.
Ah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's no real bullying in the D's world. Bullying,
I like it.
I think bullying is an act, or rather it's a reflection of the insecurities a person has within themselves. And in order to bypass that insecurity, they force it onto others and play the role of the oppressor when they themselves are the oppressed, for whatever reason. And it just so happens that over time, as with everything that we do, you get better and better and better at it. So they've turned this sort of fear reaction that they've developed within themselves into a quote-unquote strength of theirs.
I think Don said it beautifully. Bullying is essentially projecting. A lot of bullies have problems in their own lives, have insecurities that they fail to really understand or fail to really deal with in a sensible way. And so they just unleash their fury onto others. And I think when we look back at our lives even, there may have been times when we might have bullied others, where we might have been bullied even. And it never feels good. It never feels good.
Never does.
And so I agree with the general sentiment that bullying is definitely something that should not be tolerated. But do you think, Don, there's a difference between bullying and being aggressively efficient?
Nope. But that's where we could sort of say is strong-arming a deal right. Where you have the leverage and you can pull certain strings, but you don't have to force a deal. So you kind of do it the quote-unquote politically correct way, but you already know what response should be garnered. It dabbles in the gray area between that. I don't know. No, because it's all gray, and
that's fine.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck it. If there's a bully, like, put them in their place. Like, call them out. Seriously, dude. It's like, hey, everybody sees it. It's not like I'm calling out something out of the blue, right? It's like, dude, you're fucking up clearly. What the fuck is going on? Oh, I'm bullying because I got a small D, or it's so slippery. Well, fucking goddamn it! Like, really? You gonna do that? Go see a doctor. We'll handle that shit. Stop doing that.
Go see a doctor. that's Dr. Ball and I.
There you go, man. Wait, we provide benefits. Fucking use them, yeah.
We provide benefits. Yeah.
Oh, I don't even remember your original question. I just started vibing.
Moving on with the show. So, I agree with Don's...
wait, see the doctor, right?
Yeah, definitely see the doctor. Because some things only doctors can cure.
Exactly.
Maybe not Dr. P. Maybe not Dr. P, but other doctors.
Well,
sure.
I'm a quack, so it's all good.
Hey, our president has a quack doctor, so you'd be in business for sure.
Not for long, though, until January 20th.
That is true. Since we're on it, we might as well briefly jump on this one. Why do you think Trump is still continuing all these litigations and kind of holding on to some hope that he can still win this?
Jesus. I think I actually sent you a link earlier in the week, too, where Trump is basically crying, pounding his fists on the floor as he rolls around, causing a nuisance for everybody. When it comes strictly to trying to file litigation for whatever reason, whether it be vote counts or other bullshit tactics that he's trying to do, he's just trying to make things hard. Make things more difficult and mess up the table that he's supposed to have prepared to pass on to our next president-elect. I think it's a very poor form of bullying because he could, well, not really, but he's acting like he could do anything and everything he wants to do. And I don't even think he cares about the repercussions of what this can be. I think, if I'm going to be 100% honest and probably dabbling a little bit in conspiracy theories here, he's setting all this stuff up so that we forget about retracing all the dirt that we have yet to uncover about his own personal history and his own time as president. You know, if there's things that we could dig up that can be problematic for his future moving forward. I think he's just being a dick, honestly. That's what it is, what it boils down to. He's being a dick. And I don't think he cares that he's being a dick. I think he fully knows he's being a dick, and he's just doing it to do it. For whatever goddamn reason.
It's really petty. I think all of these executive actions, executive orders he's taking to try to make Biden's life harder and make the transition tougher, it's just a nuisance.
Yeah,
like,
well,
yeah.
You know, to put a little more of an educational take on this, I think what he's doing is he's messing up the table so that these next 4 years, all the things that Trump has done and implemented during his term won't get destroyed or unraveled. He's going to make Biden spend time doing other things rather than tackling issues Biden would probably want to address immediately. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I it's one of those things where, like, I look back at Election Day, and he was the only person to come out and actually declare victory that day.
Fairly early, too.
Very early. Like, it wasn't even like 9 p.m.
Yeah, I think the counts were showing the other thing, too, or other way, and he's like, yeah, I got this. This is easy.
Yeah,
this is easy.
Like, I'm saying it right now. We've won. We've won by a huge margin. And all of his idiot fans in the room, including his sons. And one of his sons got COVID today, by the way. I think the older one.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Like father, like son, I suppose. Look. Great look. And I just thought, man, like, look at this guy, this cocky bastard. I mean, he's taking his chance right here. And of course, from the next day onward, it's all Biden. Like, Biden wins like all the states.
Yeah, it's like one by one, it just starts knocking him down, and Biden's smile just keeps getting wider and wider as he puts those aviators on. Yeah.
You got pumping that iron. By the way, I just gotta say, like, Don and I, when we talk sometimes on Messenger, we just send these like Biden gifts or these Trump gifts or Obama gifts.
I love it.
And Biden has a lot of good gifts and memes.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I think like just dating back to his time as VP, him and Obama, they were like sharing quite a bromance back in the day. It was entertaining. And I think Don and I both agree it would be awesome if Obama could come back in some capacity, in that administration. I know he won't. He's not.
He's making too much money doing speeches. Why would he?
And on Netflix, right? I think he's signing. He signed some deal with Michelle, his wife.
Well, there's that. His biography just came out.
Oh yeah, are you thinking of reading that?
I would, but I have another book coming in about a week.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Ready Player 2. Ready Player 2.
Dude, okay, are you really reading this shit? Because you read, you told me about 2 or 3 books in the course of...
Yeah.
You are?
Well, I mean, things are kind of slowing down because of 2K, but Yeah.
I love how seriously you said that. Like, it's a high priority item.
Hey, man,
fucking Yokozuna,
you know
and
what?
fucking like DeAndre De La Loco or some shit.
Deontay El Loco, all right? Let's get it right.
All
right? And I got Kobe in my team, so you know I've been playing that a lot.
Okay, man. How about this, man? So the fans, obviously, of the SoCal DNA know from the last episode.
Flexing. There we go.
That we were desperately trying to find a PS5.
There we go. Kissing that bicep. Yeah.
There you go. And lo and behold, one of us actually did get very lucky.
Oh yeah, I wonder who that one was.
And from all the gesticulations that you're hearing Don talk about, it is none other than the D. He was lucky enough to get one on launch day, I believe.
Very lucky.
And he got it shipped rather quickly. I thought it would take much longer.
Oh yeah.
Got it really quick.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't been as lucky. I did not get anything through Walmart, through GameStop, through Best Buy, through Amazon, or through Sony directly. Mm-hmm. So I'm still on these streets. I'm out here hustling.
Yeah, you do what you got to do.
Don is about to work from home and play from home.
I'm enjoying it, man.
And, Don, why don't you go ahead and tell us about my team? Give us your first impression of my team.
So my team is different. I haven't played my team before. As a little bit of context, 2K21 is the sort of official video game of the NBA, and there are various modes within there that can be played. There's, of course, the standard play mode where you could just play a current roster versus a current roster, or even a past roster. But you're locked in to your players being of that particular year's roster. And you could play single player or multiplayer, even I think there's an online component too where you could play that one online.
That's right.
Another mode that I would typically play is something called My Career, where you basically create a person and you take it through the motions of whatever story they've put forth for the year. This usually goes through, at least includes college, possibly international basketball, and then you get into being drafted and you go along with your career within the NBA, if you ever reach that level. Another mode that can be created is, what's the one that we were going to do? Do you remember?
So in the past, I think it was called association mode.
Association mode? Yeah,
now they call it something else. Now it's like...
it's like My League.
My League, right? Yeah.
Where you could basically create expansion teams, which I'm hoping the A and I can do.
We will, for sure.
You can basically set up a whole new draft, if you'd like, where players can be picked according to a snake format or a lottery format. And the league gets totally shuffled. Or you could do a little more fun way where with every expansion team, usually existing teams can protect 2 to 3 people and say, hey, well, these are ours, you can't draft these guys, and the rest get into a lottery that the expansion teams can pick from, again, in snake form or lottery form. The mode that the A was introducing right now is called My Team. And My Team is interesting. I haven't played it before too often, but it follows a little bit of a gimmicky attainment system where there are certain ways you could unlock cards. And if you collect these or certain cards that reflect certain players, then they are added onto your team. But these other cards can also contain, certain stat boosts to make your player better, or even contracts to make sure that those players play for you, and you can actually use them. And other things like coaches and your jerseys and the court itself, and even the ball this year. I'm pretty sure last year they probably had it, but the ball, I unlocked a red, green, and white ball, and I've been using that lately. I'm quite proud of it. Quite proud of it.
Shout out to Italy, man.
I was thinking more Mexico, but we'll go with that. We'll go with Italy. And yeah, no, I'm thoroughly enjoying it because within My Team itself, there's various modes. There's like a 3-on-3 mode that I've been playing, which I gotta tell you my roster, man. So of course I got Kobe in there, and I got Zion in there because Zion's my highest, I guess, stat level or rank. I don't know what the right is. 96 out of 99.
Oh wow, that's really good. Yeah.
And my third card, which is my second highest card right now, is
Ooh.
none other than Scalabrini.
Really? What's his rating?
He comes in at an 89.
Oh shit! That must be like a rare Scalabrini.
It's fucking Scalabrini.
That's probably the day that he dropped 30. Like,
hey man, and his 3, oh, it's so great, dude. I'll just drive in with Kobe or Zion and just kick it out because they're like, oh, I'm not gonna guard Scalabrini. I'm gonna go triple team this guy. Just pop it out to Scalabrini with perfect form every time.
Yeah.
Just drains it. That's my guy.
That's my guy. I love it. He's like the new age Dirk Nowitzki.
I like it. Well, new age? Old age? How old is Scalabrini?
Probably the same age as Dirk, to be honest with you. So tell me this: how did you get Kobe? Was Kobe just included as part of the Legend Edition, or what was?
So it so happened that I think it was included, or it could have just come from opening. Because usually you pick one of 5 starter cards, and you get a certain number of packs with it. And I assume, now that you bring it up, because it was the Mamba edition, it was automatically included.
Very cool. Are you good with Kobe? Do you know how to use his post fade?
No, not yet. I've just been driving and dunking on people.
That's fun too.
Posting up for a 3. I mean, the post is great. I know how to do the post fades, but I don't know how to perfectly use the hop step correctly yet. Because the hop step is where you're like, what the... Really? He just jumped from the free throw line all the way back to the 3-pointer that easily? And then took another hop back to shoot his 3? What? You're like, all right.
Yeah, see, here's the problem, Don. You're trying to look for the hop step button, but really you got to look for the travel button. It's called a travel.
Refs don't call it. It works out.
That's right.
And while pulling a 360 in the air while shooting, yeah, hell yeah. And getting the end one, yeah. Let's layer that in. There we go, Kobe.
There you go. Realism was always 2K's forte. So needless to say, it sounds like you're at least interested in my team mode. You kind of...
It is. Okay. And I think as I'm getting older and having less and less time, I think devoting it to a character in my career and spending time in the park gets a little more difficult because at least with my team, I would say it's a little more even in the sense that luck plays a bigger attribute in it compared to my career. Whereas my career, I feel it's more of what's currently meta right now, what is in, and how much time can I spend or how much money can I spend, though the same thing could be said about my team, to get my guy to 99. I'm finding more enjoyment in opening these card packs and being like, fuck yeah, I got Scalabrini, like that fucker's going in, like like you have no idea how happy I was. I was saving it to say it. I'm like, I got fucking Scalabrini.
I love it, man. I love it. And to be honest with you, the enthusiasm you have when you open up those packs, I used to feel the same thing, man. When I played 2K more heavily years ago, it was the coolest thing. And my greatest opening, believe it or not, was at the time they didn't have the opal or anything. The highest level was diamond. Sure. Okay? It was a diamond LeBron James.
What year? What jersey was he wearing?
This was Cavalier LeBron. But the second time, right? The second time.
Got it. Yeah.
But dude, like, I've never actually used LeBron before in my team.
Oh, he's like a hack, dude. He's like on steroids, or not even steroids.
He's a man amongst boys. Yeah, he is just playing in his own league.
Unlimited turbo, and then when you press turbo, it's even like an extra turbo. It's crazy.
It's everything. Like, he can do everything on the court, from shoot to drive to post to dunk to pass. Like, he can play all 5 positions pretty much.
Oh yeah, which he does.
He does sometimes. He's the modern day Magic Johnson at times. So yeah, I'm ecstatic to hear that you're enjoying my team.
Yeah, and I got to get my little head start in because obviously the A is a pro player getting drafted almost by these pro teams.
Well, Don is nice to say that. I will admit I was nice back in the day when I played more regularly. There were times when I could make Don say, my heart's not into it. My
It's
heart's
not.
just not into it.
Sometimes I'm gonna say that now because obviously I got a puppy, I got a wife, I got a
You
job.
got a house.
You
You got a house. You're running the city of GG.
It's tough.
You're doing a lot of
It's
things.
tough,
You're doing a lot
man.
of things.
It's tough.
But yes, we should make a guess here. When do you think the A is going to get a PS5? I think that's the $1 million question.
I'm hoping on Black Friday they actually open up their inventories and they open up a sort of wait list or similar to like a pre-ordering system where they build a log where it's like, hey, I don't have time to deal with going against bots and people that are just trying to scalp these. I want to actually just be on the list. I'm willing to pay you whatever it is for the actual purchase of the console. And how about you just ship it to me when you get it? I think that would make better sense for the companies to do.
I completely disagree with that because I find no incentive for the retailers to do that.
Why? That means they get their Q4, or typically Q4 if they're following calendar year, their Q4 sales shoot up as they typically should.
No, they're already. No, the thing is, like, what you're arguing is paying more money than retail?
No. I'm not saying pay more. I'm saying for the edition I got, the digital edition, I'm willing to pay $400 today for you to ship it whenever you get it. Rather than have to deal with, there was an announcement that tomorrow it's going to open up at noon, so I'm going to log in and click refresh.
I think the benefit of that is overstated. I think either way, they're going to be shipping these for the next few quarters. Like, it's not even a situation where they need to line up the orders to just make their numbers look better. I think it's already in their projections.
Well, yeah, but it's also just like, why not just open it up? Why not lock in the sale to come to you rather than all these other vendors? Unless Sony said, hey, don't do that. We're giving each vendor or each store or whatever a certain number, an equal number, so it's even. I can understand then why they would keep things as they are. But if it's like, hey, if I'm just going to continue ordering directly from Sony, if I'm Walmart and just ordering, 500, well, fuck it. Like, I'll order 500 for this round, and then based off of whoever else signed up and gave me their money, I'll just order the 1,000, the 2,000, the 3,000 after that, while still making their profit and stealing.
None of that made sense to me, but I'm not in finance, so I probably can't help you there.
No, it's why not make sure the customer gives you the money and not goes to a competitor? Again, like if it's Target or Walmart.
No, I'm sure that it's like you said though. I'm sure there's a reason why they have like a set number of stock for each of these retailers, right? Like it's not like Walmart has the most stock compared to anybody else. I don't think Amazon has the most stock either. I think it's just the way that they decide to release it. I think Walmart has probably been more upfront about saying, next drop is 6 p.m. Eastern time, November 25th, or whatever it may be. I think very few retailers are doing that. As you know, Amazon is not. Amazon does surprise drops most of the time.
Well, yeah. It creates a sense of demand, which is great tactically, but given COVID and how people are staying in and how big of a market item it is, I'd say just release it. I know they're kind of backed up due to manufacturing problems that may occur due to the pandemic that we're currently in and still in. Stay inside at 10 if you're here in California, or else you're going to get shot. Maybe. Most likely. Don't try it. Just let it go. People are getting frustrated because they know ultimately they're going to buy the console. It's just why add that extra layer of negativity?
I don't really view it at all the way that you're viewing it. I look at it as a hot commodity. Everybody wants it. There's no need to have like a back order waiting list that lasts for 6 months. This is not a vaccine. This is an entertainment console. Okay, so
some people are treating it as a vaccine.
Yes, that's actually true. Yeah, a lot of people they just want that PS5 controller.
Get their fix.
Exactly.
And again, it's one of those. I can say this so easily because I have one. I got lucky, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I just wish that more of my friends got it, because there's certain level of enjoyment you could get again from meeting up with people physically, as we talked about and alluded to earlier. But given the pandemic status our world is inflicted with right now, it'd be nice to at least connect digitally and beat their asses as Scalabrini drains another 3 on them.
That warms my heart to hear, and that adds more motivation, more fuel to the fire for me to jump on the internets, jump on the interwebs on November 25th or 26th, whenever the hell Black Friday is, 27th rather, and refresh the page. Continue to refresh the page until I get into the queue in one of these places. We'll see. I'm optimistic. I think during that Black Friday weekend, I think I'll get lucky and be able to snag a console. By the time I get it shipped, it may not be until early December.
But 2K22 will be right around the corner.
I think I'll get it well before then. Don't you worry. But I'm very happy to hear you're enjoying 2K. Are you thinking of trying some other games too for now, or is it just all?
No, definitely. I think I'm leaning into getting a remake called Demon Souls. It's the kind of game I enjoy, where it's a difficult role-playing game that has a good amount of customization that goes into it. What kind of fighter you'd like to create. And I think for now, that's what I'm holding off for, and looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077, which is supposed to have been released already, but they've been moving it back and back for whatever reason.
And shout out to Run the Jewels, by the way, for 2 reasons. Number one, they actually created one of the songs that's featured on Cyberpunk 2077 called No Save Point. So it's a new Run the Jewels track, not included in their last release, RTJ4. It's a brand new track. And in honor of that, they actually released, and Don and I were talking about this the other day, they released a new, pretty much like a new 13 different brews from all these different breweries all over the world. And we did not know this before, but apparently Run the Jewels is now into beer. Like the whole idea. Who is it, right? Everybody's trying to get their hands in some kind of liqueur, whether it's Post Malone or Diddy.
Oh yeah, Post Malone has this whole what is that World Beer Pong Championship going on? I don't know if you heard about that.
Man, it's definitely not something I'd be interested in watching. I know that he does some liquor or wine or rosé. I forget exactly.
I think it's rosé.
Might be rosé. Yeah. But no, I think, to be honest, it's a smart business. I like that these entertainers are taking advantage of the name recognition and basically slapping their name on a bottle. Of course, it's not always that simple. I know some of these people are more involved in the process, just like how some athletes are more involved in their sneaker, than others. Others just are totally fine having the guys at Nike, the guys at Jordan handle everything from the design to the fit to everything, and they just attach their name at the end and collect the cash. That's fine for some, but I like it when artists that really care about their own craft dabble into a new venture and apply that same amount of dedication. And I think Run the Jewels is doing exactly that. They see that other people who make these craft beers, they have so much dedication into their work, just like they do, just like Killer Mike does, just like LP does. And so fusing those two passions together, them learning from each other, mostly RTJ learning about the beer world, learning about the craft process, I think that's really cool. And coming together over anything, especially in these tough times, is the right way to go about things. Next week, of course, is going to be Thanksgiving. We're all grateful for many things, and we'll definitely do an episode or 2, probably just 1. No promises there for one episode. We don't have a good track record. I don't have a good track record right now of keeping up with the schedules and everything. But I will say it is important to come together in some way or another, whether that is virtually over a nice game of 2K where the A just beats the living hell out of the D.
I don't know. I got the White Mamba now, so you got to be careful.
Well, you actually got the white and the black
Yeah,
mamba.
you're screwed. And I got Zion right in the middle, so don't make me pull
You
out the
got big
Zionist
boy.
card on you. You know, I'm just.
And who knows? Maybe you'll transfer Yokozuna and Four Loco. What's it, Four Loco? Deontay De La Loco?
There
Whatever
we
that.
go. You know, close enough. Close enough.
De La Loco. Close enough. So hopefully next time we all get together, we'll have more interesting things to talk about. More interesting than the UK Parliament, which was really just something
I found it to be amazing.
Well, you are a horrible liar, my friend.
I found it to be amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed myself through it.
Well, I can see that you're practicing your question answering skills in 2K My Career. Usually what happens is at the end of the game, you go up to the podium and they give you 4 responses.
They don't have those anymore.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Oh, what do they replace them with? Just cutscenes? Or?
Well, maybe I haven't gotten that far, but from what I've read, they don't have those kind of team chemistry building sort of things.
Got you. It's all good though. It's all good. And fans of the show will also recognize we're missing a certain segment this week, but don't you worry. We will be coming right back at you with a double dose of your favorite segment.
Of the D's ratings of alcohol.
That's right. Which, of course, the A loves to write about in the comments. It takes a few more minutes to do that, but loves to do. But in any case,
I'm definitely doing it next week then.
But in any case, a lot of fun hanging out with you guys on a Friday night, coming at you live, somewhat live, probably not live at all. You'll listen to this on tape delay after it's thoroughly edited. But you guys all take care. Have a great weekend. And we will catch you next time.